perfectionism is just your body trying really hard to be a good girl, to people please, and to not get rejected. And that's a really dangerous game to play because you will never be loved by everybody.
The riskiest mistake you can make when you start reinvesting in your business is expecting every investment to pay off. And then as soon as it doesn't pay off, you're pissed off and you stop investing.
There's no perfect time. There's no perfect opportunity. There's no perfect moment. If you're feeling really drawn to do it, you should do it. Should you start a podcast? Should you start a YouTube? Yep, absolutely. Should you start running ads? Yep. Should you think about running ads for 6 months before you run ads? No, you should just run the ads.
Today we're talking about the truth about scaling, what nobody tells you. We're going to lift the lid and go deep. Steph, how are you feeling?
Excited. Scale. Everybody wants to scale.
Steph's favorite topic that we can talk about here. And I've actually got my dog up here molesting me at the moment. Hello, Felix. You want to be on the podcast?
I will dive into personal update first then.
Yeah.
I guess. I actually really just want to tease you about yours, but I'm going to let you do yours because yours is hilarious today. I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were saying that the story that you tell yourself, and I'm going to call it the narrative because I think this is a way better word than story. The narrative that you tell yourself is the most powerful and dangerous weapon that you've got. And I was thinking about sometimes some of the stories that I've heard clients give us, they say things like, oh yeah, literally this week, one of our clients who has recently joined our program said, oh yeah, January is just a really bad month for me in business. So what I need to do is I need to make all of my money in November, December, because like no one really buys in January. Now, I want to be really clear. Her audience is like, the reason she gave me was because her audience are going to be buying fitness offers instead of buying her offer, which is like a mindset offer, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't believe you. I was like, it sounds bullshit to me.
Sounds shit.
Yeah. But she was changing her whole business model for the next 3 months so that she could support this crap month in January. And so because she's bought into this narrative at some point that January is just crap because maybe she sucked at marketing that month, or maybe she couldn't differentiate herself, or maybe she had a try, or maybe someone just told her it sucks, right? One time. She's now bought into this narrative that January doesn't work, so then she won't market as much, and it's going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right, of this January month being bad. And I think that so many entrepreneurs, they kind of like buy and borrow these stories, these narratives, these beliefs that just completely cap out their ability to scale, that completely cap out their ability to earn more money, and that change the whole trajectory of their business. And I think we should be very, very, very careful of the narratives that we tell ourselves.
Do you have any examples of ones of you've had?
If they're buying a program from me, surely they should have a sales call with me. No one's going to buy a program from me if they haven't had a sales call with me.
You actually thought that?
For so long. And it stopped me from hiring a salesperson, of course, because I believed that, which seems so crazy now, but I know there are going to be 1,000 people who listen to this podcast who are having that exact thought right now.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God, of course. No, absolutely not.
I think it looks unprofessional.
It looks unprofessional that you take your own sales calls. It looks like you don't take your shit seriously because you're so available for freaking contact. Now, I'm not saying that if you're a coach and you aren't over $50,000 a month, you probably don't need a salesperson. In fact, you could probably get to $80,000 a month without a salesperson. Yeah. But I am saying that there are pros and cons to that story. I've had hundreds of narratives like that, so many that have slowed my growth, stalled my growth, stopped my growth. In some cases, forced me to shut down entire businesses that I probably could have saved and figured out otherwise. So absolutely, the narrative you tell yourself is so important. So be really conscious of, the most powerful thing you can do is hire a coach, because they will, when I caught Elon saying this narrative, I was like, girl, bullshit. We're going to make January your biggest month yet. Yeah. Now we get to change the story and do it really powerfully, which is super cool. Anyway, what's your personal update?
So we went on a bit of a rampage. We are filming some retargeting ads this week. So we filmed about 80 videos. And I soon learned that the biggest constraint we had was video editors. So we sent the videos to our video editor and he was like, bro, freaking out, having an aneurysm, can't do it. So we were like, oh, fuck, this is a big constraint. How are we going to get these videos edited to move forward with our business? So in 24 hours, we hired 3 additional editors. And The reason I'm telling you this is because if you have a constraint right now in your business, you need to move fast as possible. Like, it is your duty to move as fast as possible. And I know there are a ton of people out there listening to this podcast and they have a constraint or a problem in their business and they just fucking sit on it. You can't sit on shit, guys. You got to move forward and you got to take action. And then what happens is you fix that constraint, then you get the next constraint and the next constraint and the next constraint. But if you get held up on the one constraint, you never actually grow your business. So the moral of the story is be like Tim. Hire 3 editors, move faster, film 100 videos, stack cash, make money, buy Lambos. Let's fucking go. So, no, honestly, guys, if you have a constraint right now, it's literally your duty to get it fixed immediately because that will drive your business forward as fast as you can.
The saying is money loves speed.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest constraints we see in our clients is how slowly they make decisions.
Yeah.
Or even absorb information. Like, you will send somebody a process. You'll be like, cool. Here's the thing. Here's how to fix the problem. They're like, okay, I'm just going to take a few days to absorb all of this.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
what? Get it done.
Make a fucking decision. Let's go.
You don't need to you just need to try stuff. Like, guys, if you're under $100,000 a month right now, you just need to try as much stuff as possible to figure out what's going to work. And that means that 50% of the stuff you try is like not going to work. But every single failure you have shuts that door of that decision. So now we know that doesn't work. So we only have these options left, right? And eventually you know what options work. And that's the fastest way. Like, you're listening to this episode, the truth about scaling, what no one else will tell you. The first lesson of this episode is move faster. Because if you don't move fast, your competitors are definitely going to make decisions faster than you. And secondly, like, it's just so painful sitting in indecision. Like, not knowing what direction to take is honestly the most painful experience. You agonize, you're thinking about it all the time, you wake up in the middle of the night. It's just crap. Hire 3 editors. Make it happen.
Let's go. Steph, do you want to bring us in on the first section, what we're talking about today on the truth about scaling?
Yeah, so look, everyone talks about scaling like it's glamorous, but the truth is that most coaches aren't actually ready to scale. And so today we're going to break down the 3 things that nobody is telling you right now about scaling. So section 1 is that scaling will expose your weakness, not fix it. And so I think a really big misconception that people have when they're considering scaling their company up is that it's just going to be all money, Lambos, smooth sailing. It's going to be just this awesome thing. And actually, it's like scaling your business is a really painful experience for the most part. And on the other side of it, when you're rich and you have all the money, it's awesome. But there is a period of time where like it's very uncomfortable because when you're putting pressure on any structure, it's going to expose a weakness. It's going to expose a crack. It's going to start to crumble under pressure, and you're going to have to put a lot of movement in place in order to patch those leaks as fast as possible so that the whole thing doesn't collapse on itself, right? So scaling is a bit of a pressure cooker. It's a bit of a pressure system.
Yep.
You know, $8,000 to $10,000 a month, the cracks in your business might feel small, but at $50,000 a month, those cracks are going to feel like craters. They're going to be absolutely huge. So, Tim, talk us through, and I've put it here, but you tell me in your words, what do you think it means to scale?
Yeah, it's funny. I was reading your definition there and I was like, that's not even what I think scaling is.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, scaling is just growing.
Yes.
But the more you grow your business, the more problems come up, which everyone just thinks like, hey, I'm making 10K a month. I'm going to go to 50. Everything's going to be hunky-dory and be the same in your business. No. As soon as you start growing, you put more pressure on the system. And then, like you said before, the cracks and the leaks appear. And it just gets more uncomfortable and more shit and more lessons. And they keep coming at you like faster. Like the more people you drive into this said system, the more issues come up and you feel like you can just never get ahead of it. Sometimes the worst thing that can ever happen to you is you scale your business too fast.
Yes.
Because you get so much demand and you can't fulfill it, and it ends up sometimes that even kills businesses. So Steph, why do you think coaches think that scaling will like magically fix their business? Like, why do you think them going from 10K months to 50K months will magically fix their business?
I don't know if they think that. I think that they think that it's just going to be more money and they have more impact and it's just going to be awesome. I don't think they think it's going to fix their business. I think that they have some grandiose notion that they're good enough, they're ready, they can handle it, but most coaches can't. And I would love to dive into like, I guess what we're going to dive into in today's episode is how to know you're ready for scale, what you need to have in place in order to be able to actually scale up your business, and what it really looks like when you go into, you know, hyperscale, like really fast scalability in your own company. What are the first weak spots that you usually see that crack when somebody tries to scale too soon?
Yeah. So a coach going from 10K months to 50K months, usually the first thing that's going to crack is the delivery. So what got them there won't get them any further. So they just realize that like the delivery or the model that they're running won't work at scale. Therefore, they start giving a worse result to their clients. And if they don't do that, they usually burn out. And then people will start leaving, and then they have to start working even harder for marketing. So when you have this like 10K a month business, it's great because you can really just like kind of like manage all the clients super well. As soon as you get more than, I think the number is like 50 or 60 or something clients like that, it actually starts taking systems and processes and these types of things. But before you get to that level of whatever that looks like for your price point, you can really manage it. So delivery fails, and then it's kind of a bit of a catch-22 because as soon as delivery fails, you start losing clients, and then you have to market harder. But most coaching programs or most coaches, they just turn into sales and marketing machines versus actually just fixing their delivery. So I would say that like your IP, your program, your offer has to be solid and super solid and has to be ready to scale to take on the amount of clients that you want to take on. Otherwise, it's kind of just like that leaky bucket analogy. You know, you're pouring stuff in a bucket and it's got 100 holes of people just leaking or revenue just leaking out the bottom, and you're just not ready to scale.
One mistake I think I see a lot of coaches make in this space is that they don't actually plan. They just don't plan for the income that they want to get to. So for example, if you're a coach right now and you have 20 clients and you're feeling pretty at capacity and you know you want to grow, right now you'll either be telling yourself a story about why you can't grow. It'll be too much. I'll burn out. I'm not going to be able to do it. That's bullshit, just by the way. And that's a mindset story. But the other story that you'll have is that like, I just don't know how to do this and still maintain my client results. And there are 100 ways to do that. I'm telling them right now, like you'd be able to figure out a way to be able to still get your clients' results. You just haven't seen how to do it yet, okay? Now, the biggest mistake I see though when they're trying to make this transition is that they're not planning for that 50K month. They're not planning for not only getting there, but what will I have to do to sustain it. So once you get to somewhere like $50,000 a month, you know, you need a marketing system that is consistently bringing you in, obviously, new leads and conversions. But on top of that, you're also going to need to have key hires throughout the process of scaling up from $10,000 a month to $50,000 a month. And you're going to need time to train those hires. You're going to need time to make sure that they can fulfill to your clients correctly. And that requires a hell of a lot of systems being put in place. And I think most coaches just kind of start growing, get a bit more demand, and then they slapstick hires in, almost like they're just slapping on Band-Aids on this leaky bucket that you've spoken about, hoping that it will just solve that problem. And it ends up becoming an incredibly expensive bucket full of crap that's not really holding any water in anyway. And that's the biggest mistake I see people make.
Unvaluable crap. So how do you know if your business is ready to scale to 50K months and beyond?
I don't think look, I think any business is scaled to 50K months and beyond. So if you're listening to this right now and you're in a coaching niche, you can do it. So just so you know, it's possible for you, regardless of what story you're telling yourself and what narrative you might be running about whether or not you can do it. But you just need to map it out. You actually just need to sit down and map it out. At $50,000 a month with what you're currently charging, which by the way is probably the wrong price point. But let's say that with what you're charging right now, how many clients would you need? Okay. And then what would need to actually change in your delivery model to make that happen? Would you need to bring somebody else in to handle the accountability? Would you need to bring somebody else in to, you know, actually coach your clients? Would you need, you know, support experts in the space so they can field some questions for you? Would you need to utilize more AI into your business model to be able to support the growth? There's so many ways that you can restructure the model to be able to support you to get 50K a month, but you just have to think about it first. Like, and most people just don't think about what it would actually look like. And then from there, you actually need SOPs as well to be able to do it. Do you think that the real reason that most coaches don't scale is because they're actually scared to face their inefficiencies head on?
I think they don't want to scale because they don't want to scale subconsciously.
Interesting.
Let me tell you a story. This is pretty interesting. I was on a coaching call today, one of our clients, and she was telling me that, you know, this next level of business is uncomfortable, is gross, is she doesn't want to kind of go through it because it's been super uncomfortable for her. And I said, like, what's your motive or what's your driver to do it? And she said, well, I'm not really a money person, so it's not money. And then I was like, okay, what's your impact goal? And she said, I don't really have an impact goal. And I was like, okay, cool. It's kind of weird. She doesn't want money or impact. And I was like, what does your partner do? And she goes, yeah, he has a 9-figure company. And I was like, okay, cool. So her motivation for most people. They've got the money motivation of like they want to make heaps of money, and if they don't have that, they've got this huge why behind them. She didn't have either of them, so it's going to be really hard for her to find the motivation to want to scale her business, which I thought was like super interesting. And it was like I've never actually had that before on a coaching call where someone was like, hey, I'm pretty happy at 10K a month. So I don't think it's like, a lot of people are pretty willing to get into their inefficiencies, or they just know they're not good at certain things. But I think you've really got to have the drive to scale to 50K months, because it's a big beast to jump into. It's not just like you're a one-man band, like a fitness coach, business coach, whatever it is. It's like you've got to have some form of a team. You've got to manage, you've got to hire, you've got to train, you've got to do all that type of stuff. And all of that shit you're not getting paid for. Like there's none of that's getting paid for. You're actually making less money.
Yeah.
Like to go from 10 to 50K months, you make less money because you have to hire and you're doing more hours on there as well.
Talk us through the kind of, because there is, if we looked at this like the valley of despair, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they've climbed to, let's say that there's a coach listening to this right now. They've climbed to the first peak. The first peak is they've hit their first $10,000 a month.
Yep.
And it's nothing like what they thought it was going to look like.
Yeah.
And from this peak that they're at right now, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll get a little diagram up. From the peak that they're at right now, they can see the next peak. Like, holy shit, there was so much more available for me than I actually originally thought. I can now see the $50,000 a month mountain.
Yep.
But to get to that mountain, I can also see that between this mountain and that mountain is a valley of despair. I can see the downward slope here.
Yeah.
Talk us through, firstly, why it's worth getting there.
Yeah.
And how does somebody know whether they even want to? Like, and talk me through like the valley of despair. Like, what's going to happen in there?
So right now you're probably working a lot. So you're probably doing like 30, 40, 50 hours, probably even more for most of you. You're kind of doing everything at this stage. And you're doing early mornings, late nights. Business is always on your mind. You can't really take a holiday and not make any money. And it's quite stressful because you're like wearing all the hats. You're the salesperson, you're the marketer, you're the whatever, like psychologist, cleaner, janitor, customer service rep, like all the things. And to get to the other point is a position of freedom. It's a different kind of freedom. Like you still have responsibilities, but you can definitely take a day off, or you can definitely take a week off, or you can definitely take a holiday and still get paid. But to get to that point of like having the financial freedom of making 50K months and then having quite a bit of profit left over and then having time off, there are a lot of skills that you do need to master from there. And I'd say one of the hardest skills you need to master is people, and that's having staff. So probably the first key hire for a lot of people is having a good VA.
Yes.
But to get a good VA, you probably go through 10 shit ones. And then you've got to go through the hiring process, and you've got to talk to them, and you've got to train them, and you've got to set SOPs. And then after you got a good VA, you probably need someone to help you with delivery. So then you've got to find another coach to help you for delivery, or you've got to systemize your delivery, or you've got to make it simpler. Even just that process that we're talking through right there can be like a couple of months. And then you put that together, you get to your next 20K months, and then you realize, oh shit, I actually don't have enough leads to get to 30K months. And then you've got to like go harder on ads, and you've got to learn marketing. You've got to get the next step. And then you can see that like every level here, or the mini peaks that you go up on the road to 50K months, just take a different version of you to get there. And becoming a different version requires you to shed your old version. And there's a whole like personal development journey that's going on in this position, because probably to get to a 10K a month coach, you probably had to be somewhat of a people pleaser as well. And then you've got to be not a people pleaser because you're a fucking boss. And then you've got to manage people. And then you've got the responsibility of people are relying on you to pay them a wage. And then you carry that whole responsibility. It was all cool when you're making 10K a month because you're making 10, you're probably pocketing, and that was all good. And now you've got people's lives on the line. So it is like a process, but personally, for me, I love the pressure, and I love you just have so much more to give other people, and you have so much more financial resources to spend on the ones you love, and you've got a lot of financial resources to invest in your team as well, which helps other people from there. So I love that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I know that it has been like a lot for you already, but I'm really interested to know what drives you. Most entrepreneurs who join Success School, you've pointed out one that isn't. Most of them are hungry.
Yeah.
Talk us through like what you think drives most people.
Yeah.
And then also what drives you.
I think most people, money drives them to some degree. They think once they hit a certain amount of money, like life is going to change for them. Like they have these grandiose visions of like literally having a Lambo, like I did too. Or they have a Lambo, or they want like a house on the beach, or they want all these type of things. And then like you realize you get that stuff and it doesn't mean what you think it's going to mean. And then for me now, it's a couple parts to it. I still have the dark energy. So it's like, I'll prove them. So, you know, in my started out my entrepreneurial career, a lot of people said I was dumb and I'd never make it. I'd never make anything of myself. And I'm like, fuck you motherfuckers. Like we're killing it type vibe. the other part of it is like the accomplishment. Like I love the accomplishment of creation. So I love creating courses. I love creating modules. I love helping our clients. I love helping them get results. But there's the whole like actually making something of yourself as well. So, and then the third part of it is like the protector. Like the protector for our family is like, I want to work hard because I want to supply for our future family. And Luna and Felix, like, what about you? Why do you do it?
Mine is twofold. Plan is like I have two driving forces that drive me totally. Because it used to be money, but I think that for the most part, because we have the money now, it's like the money is no longer the thing that drives me, right?
Yeah.
And recently I really had to tap back into the energy of what is the driving force inside me to keep getting up, you know, to keep getting after it. One, impact, of course. Like I want more people to realize how good making $50,000 a month is. Like it really does change shit. Like we were talking with our friend Bernie. He recently booked his first business class flight. Yeah. And it was with Qatar and he had a sick time. And he was like, I want to take my wife on more experiences like that. Like I want that version of life. And so that's going to require me to do X. And I was like, yeah, love that for you. Like, and I love witnessing people witness the freedom and the juice of the squeeze that comes at more money, right?
Yep.
The second part is I want to be the best.
Yeah.
And being the best, one, is so subjective because I don't think you'll ever feel like I'm actually the best. Which is great because then I'll be on an ever cycle of wanting more, right? Yep. But I want to be the best. I want to be the best coaching program. I want our clients to get the best results. I want to have the best community. I want to, you know, be known as somebody who helps people make a meaningful change in their lives. And so that's something that on a secondary driver drives me. But like, you're so right. Like if you're listening to this episode and you don't know what's driving you forward, like and it doesn't matter if it's money, like don't guilt yourself over it being money. Like money should be and is a very real driver for growth, and it absolutely should be
for a lot of people. All right, we're going to get to part 2 of this, and that scaling is a reinvestment and speed. So there's really like 2 parts of that. Most coaches think scaling is about perfection, but it's actually about taking action as fast as possible and then reinvesting in your business. So growth happens, and there's a couple of areas to this. There's ads, there's team, there's systems, and then there's not by hoarding cash. We see this quite a bit. People start making money and then they just get super tight. And then they think that like their entire wealth of their entire lineage of all time is going to come from their business in that moment. It's actually about reinvesting in yourself. So business also loves momentum. And momentum gets stopped by perfection. Perfection is something that every entrepreneur faces, but I honestly think like to get to $1 million, so over 50K, it's all about speed, and 80% done is better than perfect type vibes. I think once you go from like 1 million to 5 million, it's more about honing in that last 20% and then making it 90% and then 95 and then 100%. But for where you guys listening to this right now are, I think you need to get comfortable with like taking massive action. If you're in a coaching program like Success School, minimum should be watching a module every single day and implementing it. You should be getting on coaching calls. You should be using AI bots. You should be making daily content. You should be doing YouTube. You should be taking massive action on this stuff. And I think where people are not is they're just overthinking the things. Like the amount of people I've spoken to and they're like, yeah, I really need to start YouTube. And I'm like, just fucking start YouTube. Like just get a camera, $1,000, good microphone. You're good to go. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. Like nothing has to wait here. You just hit record and then you just go and that's it. And they just like wait for the perfect time. Oh, I need the YouTube strategy. And you don't need shit. You just need to go. And the faster you get in the habit of just hitting momentum with these things, the faster you're going to get results. The longer you wait on these things, the more opportunities pass you by. So even just think about this YouTube example right now. If you were going to make a how-to video on your thing, whatever type of coach consultant you are at the moment, you're going to make a how-to video and someone would have seen it maybe tomorrow, and then you had the opportunity for them to reach out to you and book in a call with you. Well, you're not going to do it right now because you're fucking thinking about it still. Whereas you could have just got the camera today and taken the action, and you've just missed out on that opportunity because you're taking too long. Or you haven't made the post, or you haven't sent the email, or you're one of those people that's like, yeah, I should get into email marketing. We've had clients say that for 3 fucking years and still not got into email marketing. Yet we're making $45,000, $50,000 every single month on our email marketing, and they're not because they said they were going to do something. Steph, just a couple of questions to riff on here on scaling. Do you think coaches are too obsessed with perfection instead of progress? You're probably a bit more guilty of this than me. I'm happy to slap shit out. Like, no worries.
I'm my old nickname used to be Steph Perfect Conditions Free.
Yeah, okay.
Because I used to love a perfect condition, didn't I? I would be like, no, can't possibly record an episode without my hair being done.
Yeah.
Must have all conditions perfectly correct. Must be the perfect amount.
Pretty good right now.
Yeah, thank you. I have actually,
Yeah.
but I've made time for it. But I would have riffed even if it wasn't, right? And I
Yeah.
think that that's the point now, is that there's no perfect time. It's never going to be more convenient. It's, like one thing that you always taught me is that like there could be dogs barking in the background, and there could be like, that's why we have good microphones. So you can't hear that shit.
Yeah.
But you can't wait until the dogs are sleeping or it's a better time. Like you just have to fucking do the thing. And I think that the number one predictor of somebody being successful is their ability to slap some stuff together and get it done and get it out there and test it. Test it. It doesn't need to be perfect for you to be able to get feedback on it. And in fact, most of our clients' content that goes viral is the imperfect shit. It's the stuff that they slapped together last minute. Like, I didn't expect for this to happen. Of course you didn't.
Yeah.
Because it was slapped together. And yet we agonize over making these perfect decisions. And really, perfectionism is just your body trying really hard to be a good girl, to people please, and to not get rejected. That's what it is. It's like, if I just put everything out there perfect, then people can't possibly say a bad word about me, and they can't say no to me because everything will be perfect. But by actually doing that, and by not posting things into the world, you manifest the thing that you don't want to happen, which is the lack of clients and the lack of ability to grow, because you're not doing anything, you're not taking enough action to actually bring those opportunities towards you. So
Let's make this like let's get into the perfection thing. So there was a time where you would come to me with your social media posts and you'd be like, how does this post frame me up? Because you were trying to be like the perfect little girl on social media, but you end up getting like a lot of really shit followers that like you didn't gel with because you were putting this version of yourself on that was this perfection, when like, you're perfect, you're my wife, but you're perfect,
Of course, yeah. No, I did. I really fell into this trap for a long time of trying to control the way that people saw me. And that starts at such a small one. It's so manipulative, which is also like fine. And I think a lot of people do this. Like a lot of people are trying to manipulate the way that their audiences see them so that they seem like more of an expert, or they seem like more of this, or they seem like more of that. And it's just like super unhelpful, because the people that you buy from are not perfect, and you know it. You're not buying from people who are perfect. You're buying from people who are showing that they're real stuff, right?
Yep.
But I was trying to control it so that I could be loved by everybody.
Yeah.
And that's a really dangerous game to play, because you will never be loved by everybody. And you sent an email out actually this week on my behalf about an experience that we had recently where somebody didn't like the experience that they were having with me.
Yeah.
And that of course it hurts, but I recovered from it very rapidly because not everyone's going to like the experience, because you could be the juiciest peach in the world and somebody's not going to like peaches, and that's okay. And so needing to be loved by everybody, to be adored by everybody, and trying to create social media presence or a business where you're going to get that from people is the most unhealthy loop that you're going to run into, and it's actually going to stop you from scaling. One of our clients came to us this week literally and said to me, Steph, 3 clients quit my program this week. She has like 150 clients. 3 clients quit my program this week, and I'm spiraling. And if she was very aware, she said, if I want double the size of this business, I can't spiral over it. She's been spiraling over it for days, worried that these clients were going to say shit about her publicly. And I was like, you have 150 clients who love you, who love your offer. You can't focus just on those 3 clients. But because her whole world was built on being this person that everybody loves, when you get those little nudges, which you're going to get, they're going to knock you out for days, weeks, or months. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just really dangerous for the scalability of your company.
For sure.
Okay. So you spoke before about reinvesting as a metric for scale, right? And that some people hold on to their cash. So like they start making 20K a month, 30K a month, and they like hoard all their cash, right? And they don't reinvest.
Yeah.
What's the riskiest mistake that somebody can make when they start reinvesting?
The riskiest mistake you can make when you start reinvesting in your business is expecting every investment to pay off. And then as soon as it doesn't pay off, you're pissed off and you stop investing. And like the example here is we get this all the time. It's like, hey, I worked with this business coach, marketing coach, and it was shit. So you're probably going to be pretty shit. So I'm not going to invest with you. And That is craziness. And if you think about that, like in a dating perspective, is like you go on one bad date with a dude or a chick and you have a bad time and you're like, all dudes or chicks fucking suck. And that literally happens as well. That's like the worst mind frame to be in.
Yeah.
You're expecting everything to pay off and then you're using that as like your anchor for what is going to happen next. I think there needs to be a degree of like fuck around, find out money with reinvestment in business, and whether that's 5-10%, whatever it is per month that you allocate to that. It's kind of like you've got to take risks in business if you want to get anywhere, and the people that take the most risks usually get the most rewards. And that's just like a metaphor for life.
What are the best investments that people can make if they're wanting to scale their business from like say 10 to 20k a month upwards to 50?
Learning marketing, learning sales, and learning how to manage people, I think, are like the top three. For me, marketing is like, if you've always got more demand than you can handle, you're always going to do a really good job. If you've got marketing, you've got leads and you can't sell for shit, like that's going to be a bit of a problem for you. And then after all that is like, if you've got tons of demand and you need to scale and you're going to have to hire a team, you're going to have to learn how to manage team. And if you can't manage team, you're going to have a really hard time with all of this stuff, because there's going to need to be people that are going to have to fall back on. For me personally, like I was on our team meeting yesterday, and our longest serving employee, Sai, she was like, Tim used to be pretty fucking crazy as a boss. And I used to be the craziest motherfucker ever. Like I would yell at people in meetings and be super nuts. And
You would fire people on the spot.
Fire people on the spot. And like, you know, I'd have people call me CUNT on a meeting. And that wasn't them. That was me. Like I was crazy. Like the reflection is like, things that are happening in your life right now, listening to this, are a direct reflection of the choices you make most of the time in business. That's kind of hard to hear for a lot of people, because they're like, why is this shit happening to me? It's because you're fucking crazy. And I was crazy. And she was like, yeah, he's really like grown into a manager. And I was like, fuck, I actually have. We can keep a team now, no worries. You know, and if you can keep a team, no worries, that means you're probably a pretty good manager. And if team are leaving out the door all the time, then there's a sign there that something's going wrong. Steph, why does speed matter more than just waiting until everything feels ready?
I saw a quote. I shared it to my stories actually about this. If you're waiting to feel ready, it will never come, because ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision.
Yeah.
I've literally never felt ready. Like, what is the feeling of ready if you had to describe it? Like, it doesn't exist, right? Ready is a decision. It's like, okay, I am ready now. I can leave the room now. I can leave the door now. It's not a feeling. It's something that it's a state of mind. It's a frame. And so if you're waiting until things feel ready, then what you're really telling yourself is, I'm waiting to make a decision. Because there's no perfect time, there's no perfect opportunity, there's no perfect moment. If you're feeling drawn to something, then for the most part, of course, like make good investment decisions and, you know, make sure you do research, all that sort of stuff. But if you're feeling really drawn to do it, you should do it. That's, you know, you should think about it, you should agonize over it, you should do pros and cons lists, you should do some research. And if it all stacks up, do the fucking thing. Like, make the decisions faster. And that's not just with reinvestment, that's with everything. You know, should you start a podcast? Should you start a YouTube? Yep, absolutely. Should you start running ads? Yep. Should you think about running ads for 6 months before you run ads? No, you should just run the fucking ads. Like, go and learn the lessons. And there is just so much resource available. There's literally nothing that you can't learn with 10 solid hours. Like, honestly, you could learn most things in 10 hours. Now, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I don't have 10 hours, bullshit. You're just not allocating your time correctly and efficiently, okay? You could eat lunch out every day for a week so that you could save the 10 hours it takes you to like shop, prep, cook, lunch, right? In a 2-week period, you would find 10 hours from doing that. You can outsource cleaning. We outsource cleaning. That's like 7 hours a week. And that's like 28 hours a month. Like 28 hours. I could learn almost anything in 28 hours. There is no waiting to feel ready. You simply have to make a decision and then do it and apply yourself to it. Like, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So the one thing that you're telling yourself that you know that you need to do that's going to unlock the next level in your business, that's the thing you just have to fucking do. And you need to find a way to get it done. And you need to find a way to do it today. If somebody here had to make one reinvestment that gave them instant leverage in scale, what is it?
The instant reinvestment you need to make, and I'm going to give you proof on what this is Facebook ads. And the reason it's not organic, if you think about, if you took the best organic marketing course from the best organic marketer in the world and you followed everything they told you to do step by step, from call to action to creatives to all the things, and you went out and posted it, 99% of the time it's not going to fucking do anything. And if you took the best Facebook ads course in the world and you did everything that they told you to do and you ran ads, it's 100% going to work. And there is no argument about that. Organic is literally like guesswork and luck. And if the algorithm lords like you, that'll go well. Facebook is systematic, scientific, and it's based on principles in terms of ads. So Facebook ads is the place to go. If you want to scale, it's literally probably borderline impossible to scale a business without ads these days, just with the way the algorithms are going. You'll eventually run out of people to sell to in your warm stack, and you need to add in more people to it. How about you?
Yeah, we have I would say we have one client who's at $50,000 a month that hasn't run ads. And everyone else has, like 100 other people that have hit 50K months have. And to be honest, it's just so much easier. Like the people who aren't using ads, they have got $50,000 a month. They're also posting 3 times a day, which is, it's a lot of output. It's a lot of creation. You could create it once and have that running on ads for a month and generating you leads. So yeah, I totally think the ads is the answer here.
Do you want to bring us into section 3?
I do. Section 3 is all about what scaling truly requires. And that is, and we've spoken a little bit about it today, an identity shift. So the truth of it is that scaling isn't just strategy. It is about who you have to become. And you kind of alluded to this along the way of what drives you to grow in your own company or to grow in this company. Is like you love the challenge and you love the person you become on the other side of a challenge. And that's shown in the way that you show up at the gym, and that's shown in the way that you tackle, you know, competitive sports and try new things and always putting yourself in the way of new challenges, because you love the identity level ups. You love the person that you're becoming on the other side of this. And I think that probably most people don't realize that as they're starting to scale their company, what they're really embarking on is a journey of personal development. And it's a journey of changing at a fundamental level the beliefs and the values, the person that they are, and not in the worst kind of way. Like that can sound really scary because most people like who they are, right? But there are parts of you that you're not proud of, and you can learn to love those parts, and you can learn to make them so much better and so much more optimized and get rid of them. You know, like we have changed so much from the people that we were in so many incredible ways. We're so calm, we're so balanced, we're so not crazy anymore. Both of us are way less crazy and way more calm and way more balanced, and it feels so much better to operate at this level. And I think that the true gift is not what you gain along the way of scaling in terms of the business. That's the stuff that you're going to drive for anyway. But the true gift is like who you become along the way and the people you meet
the self-development
along the way.
Journey, yeah.
It's beautiful. So let's talk about the first identity shift that has to be made, because they do have to hire a team member, at least a VA, if you don't want your business to go offline when you go offline. Why do so many coaches cling to doing everything themselves?
Yeah, coaches cling to doing everything themselves because honestly they think they can do everything better than everyone else, which is a bit of an unhelpful belief system. You need to kind of let go of that. And if someone can come in and you give them a thorough training on how to execute a role and they can do 8 out of 10 as good as you, that's a worthy trade for me. You wanting to do everything and wear all the hats in your business, like fucking cleaner, admin, bookkeeper, accountant, coach, all the things, is completely unhelpful because you become the bottleneck. And as soon as you become the bottleneck in your business, that's when it stops growing. If every decision and action goes through you, you're going to have a bad time. Let me give you some examples of this. If something isn't critical to me knowing inside Successful, I do not want to know about it at all. I do not need it in my head because I have other things to think about that are more important for growing the business. So like example, if there's a decision under $500 in value, our admin can just make the decision on our behalf. If a client is having a problem and our client success team needs me, if it's not like what we would call like an orange or a green problem, which is something that's not detrimental to our coaching relationship with them, we just let them handle on their own. Most of the time, if they come to us with a question, we empower them to answer it on their own, because if everything is coming to us, then we're never going to have the energy or the mental bandwidth to grow the business. And speaking of energy and bandwidth, is like that's the real currency or the real thing that you have as an entrepreneur is energy. And as soon as your energy is gone because you're weighed down with all these decisions that don't actually bother you or that don't contribute to your success, that's when you're going to have a bad time. One thing a lot of coaches have a trouble handing over is like the billing and the money stuff.
Yes.
even now, like sometimes a client will text me and be like, hey, like, yeah, so super sorry. Like I've failed my payments like 3 weeks in a row. And I'm like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about because it's just not my issue. And it's just not my area. And I do not need to be involved in that. And I just think, fuck, that's funny that they think that we still would do that stuff or we would like be across that.
We are across it as a percentage.
Yeah.
So every Monday on our team meeting, we have a percentage of failed payments. We see the percentage. We don't know the names. We don't know the details. We don't know anything about it. We know that that is our admin's job to handle. She has a process for handling it and she handles it. And as long as it's within the percentage that we deem acceptable, it doesn't matter. We don't care. There's so much of that stuff that we don't see, like so many more things like, hey, I've been on pause or like whatever, like things just come up and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool, great. That's
we don't check the email. Like it's not our issue.
Yeah.
Steph, what's the hardest thing to let go of when you're scaling?
For me, the hardest thing to let go of when I started scaling was putting someone in the way of my clients. Like that felt really big at the beginning to say, hey, everything that I know, I'm going to try and teach this person in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put them in front of my clients and hope that they can handle it, you know? And that's really stressful. I think for anybody, you know, when you are a purist, like I'm a purist, I want my clients to get exceptional results and have an exceptional experience. And so you and I have a very high standard for the kind of people that we would put in front of our clients. Yep. And so that was the hardest part for me. And I don't think that there's any easy way of getting around it, except for if you truly are listening to this episode and you know that you want to scale up to $50,000 a month, the highest leverage action that you can do right now is spend some time pulling out all of the genius from your skull and putting it into documents, SOPs, and playbooks. Because once you have those playbooks in place, whether you want to hire now or you know that you need to hire in 6 months' time, having those playbooks is going to allow you to just get that done and get them trained and get them onboarded so much faster. But typically what we see is that people wait until they're at demand. They wait until they're at capacity. In fact, they're usually over capacity by the time that they go to take this action. And so they wait until they're bursting at the brim with client delivery, and then they try and hire someone with no SOP, with no playbook, with no hiring templates, and they just patch someone in and they wonder why it goes like shit. So if you're listening to this and you know, I really want to scale up, now is the time to start documenting the way that you do things, to start finding ways like, hey, I can't teach someone how to do that because it's really fucking complex. Awesome. Maybe that's not the thing that I should outsource first. Maybe I should outsource something else. Mm-hmm. Is it more mindset or systems when it comes to scaling?
So it's both, and I'm going to tackle systems first. I'm going to save you guys $10,000 on a scaling and a systems course right now. How you do it is you need to document the journey as you go through the journey rather than setting up all your SOPs at once. Let me give you an example. If I am scheduling a Instagram post and I'm going to repurpose it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, you want to record a Loom, which is loom.com. You can go there, sign up for an account, and you just want to record yourself doing it. And you want to talk to yourself on the Loom like you're a 4-year-old, like explain the steps, like super slow, like, hey, step 1, moving the button here, step 2, doing this, step 3, doing that. As soon as you've finished recording the walkthrough of this, you want to upload the transcript into AI, and the prompt you want to say is, hey, build me an SOP that has no gaps. If there's anything I missed, add it in. Then you're going to have a walkthrough video and a SOP that whoever, like your admin or whoever, can do this for you, can go down the track. And then you want to start to group these SOPs into like sections. So you want sales, marketing, operations, and delivery. It just depends on what you want to do. And eventually you're going to have an SOP library of how everything works. And that's how you scale roles. The issue is a lot of people have systems, they have processes, but they're still stuck scaling. Why? Because their mindset isn't where it needs to be to scale, because they have all these like limiting beliefs and thoughts. It's like, I can't, I won't, that won't work. I can't hand it over because I'm the best. Or businesses don't scale because they lose the client touch. And if I lose the client touch, all my clients are going to leave. These are all like mindset mumbo jumbo that all these coaches have, even if they do have the systems and processes. I find it's pretty rare for someone at 10K a month to have both of these things. So, you know, sometimes they'll have really good mindset, or sometimes they'll have really good systems and not both. You need to develop both at the same time. The fastest way to develop your mindset, in my opinion, is just to be around other savages that are doing it and have done the thing before you. So if you want to become a 50K coach, hang around other 50K coaches and you'll adopt their mindset. You want to get with them in person. You want to meet them. You want to hang out retreats with them. You want to like spend some time in their energy. Is there anything I missed with that one?
One of our clients came to us, and when she joined, she was at around $16,000 a month, and she knew she wanted to scale, but the one bottleneck in her business that was stopping her from being able to grow was her client onboarding. She just didn't have the capacity to have the sales call and the onboarding calls. Her calendar was blowing out too much. So what she was doing, she was having these sales calls, and then on the end of the sales call, she would book them in for an onboarding call, which was also one-to-one. And on big weeks, she would literally have to delay people's onboardings by like a week or two before they could get started.
It's not good.
So it was the bottleneck was this really complex onboarding process. But her belief system that was stopping her from being able to scale. So she didn't have the right model, first of all. But second of all, the belief system was, but they love that call. And then she started to realize that actually every single call was repeating the same stuff. And so if every single onboarding call is repeating the same thing, then can't we just have that as a training that they watch? And then maybe we could just have a check-in or some accountability throughout that process. She was so reluctant to do it. But I said, can we just try it? Let's just try it for 2 weeks. And it could blow up and all your clients could be really unhappy and ask to quit. And if that happens, then we know, okay? She did it. They loved it. They started getting access. They started getting results sooner because they weren't waiting 2 weeks for a fucking onboarding call. She reduced her hours by up to 20 hours a week, and she was able to take double the amount of clients on in a month. She scaled to $50,000 a month within 6 months because of the one constraint that was blocking all the things, which was, like you said, one, there was a business model issue. We had to change that up. But two, there was a belief system that needed to shift, and that was keeping her trapped.
Yeah, awesome. And just to bring this home, in your opinion, Steph, what's the one habit that separates people that are just kind of like hustling, making 10K a month from stepping into like a 50K CEO? Like, what's the one habit there?
I don't think it's a habit. I think it's a mentality. I think they're hungry.
Yeah.
Hunger is the biggest indicator. Like we can meet somebody and be like, they're going to do it. We regularly have that conversation about people we meet. We're like, that person's going to do it.
Yeah.
And you can see people who probably aren't going to do it. And it's a key characteristic in entrepreneurs. They're hungry, but they're humble. And I've spoken about this in a couple of podcasts recently. They're hungry. They want it. They know they can do it. They're like a dog at a bone. They're like, give me, I'll do whatever you say. I'll make it happen. But they're also humble enough to go, I know I need to learn more, so I'm going to listen to you. And so if you can nail that hunger-humble dynamic, you are going to crush. Like if you can just but you need to be hungry. Like you need to want this. And if you don't want it, you're just not going to work. You're not going to do what's required because it is going to require you to go through a dark night of the soul. It's going to be hard. There's going to be pain, but on the other side, there's shitloads more freedom, more than you've ever experienced in your entire life. And it's so cool.
Hey guys, if anything we said today resonated with you and you were like, hey, I want to talk to these guys about scaling my business, can you send us a DM on Instagram at RealTimFrey or at Steph Gorton and just send us the keyword 50K and we'll have a chat with you about how we can help you scale your business or any issues that you're having right now. Just would love to open up that dialogue with you and see where that goes. So as always, guys, if you got some value from this, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star review. Really, if you've been here a while and you haven't left us a review yet. I think we got quite a few, but it would be cool to have even more. I think compared to the amount of people that listen to this show and how many reviews we got, there's like a huge discrepancy there. So that would be cool. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.